Welcome to FitHer, where strong women share real stories, expert insight, and bold truths about health, fitness, and living fully. Because your journey matters. Now let's get into it. Today we welcome Karin Hall. We always are focused on, women in a holistic manner here. So we want to talk about, women's health and aging and how do we stay healthy and, and maybe not necessarily in the traditional way we've thought about it.
Yeah.
So very happy to have you. Can you give us a little bit about your background and your journey to where you are now?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very thrilled to be here. My name is Karin Hall. I am a 25-year veteran nurse practitioner. I've been around the block a time or two. I actually paid my way through nursing school by doing fitness classes, teaching fitness classes and personal training. And so fitness and healthcare has always gone hand in hand for me. I currently work, I started Power of One Health. It's a functional medicine practice focusing a lot on very much what you're focused on is with women's health. And as someone who has been traveling through that aging process along with everyone else, it's become much more obvious to me that we've been under talking about it and under recognizing it and mislabeling it in so many ways. So that really drove me to where I am now. I still practice as a nurse practitioner. I do traditional medicine. I'm acute care trained. I'm family practice trained. I'm certified and board licensed. I still work with some of the hospitals, but I know deep down that my real calling is serving in more of a holistic root cause approach.
And so talk about functional medicine. What does that mean? I think a lot of people don't know.
Sure, they don't. The buzzwords right now you're hearing are functional medicine, integrative medicine, holistic health, those kind of things, or lifestyle medicine you're hearing a lot more of. So functional medicine fits in with those. It is very much, I think of it as you have traditional medicine, which is very diagnosing disease based. Functional medicine is preventative, holistic, root cause. How do we move upstream to prevent disease and stay healthy? And that's, I think, where functional medicine shines.
And I think, in our world now, a lot is insurance driven, pharmaceutical company driven. So there's a lot of emphasis. I mean, it's crazy. I remember probably at least 15 years ago, having someone say, have you noticed that when we read magazines, have you noticed that the advertisements in the magazines are now all drugs?
Yeah.
I mean, but now it's on TV, on social
every
media,
commercial.
like every commercial. And then they're like, well, and if you have this, don't take it. If you're allergic to this medication, I'm like, well, wouldn't it be nice to know if you're allergic or not? I actually do. I didn't put that down on our questions, but maybe I'll ask you about it anyway. I do think, like we talk about, with a chiropractor, prehab, that's kind of where you are, is in that let's not wait until you have an issue that we need to treat and can potentially treat with medication, but how can we put ourselves in that right position or maybe have an alternative look at how we're going to treat something?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, prevention, everybody's always said, prevention is worth an ounce in its weight in gold, right? It's not wrong. We have gotten away from that. And yes, every other commercial is a pharmaceutical. And the thing that I find more scary is when you read the side effects. They're serious. They're no joke serious.
I always joke like, and your leg might fall off. And,
you might die.
Almost like
you might die. But that's not to take away from, we need drugs. We need the value that they bring. They are life-saving disease. I don't even want to say treating, because more often than not, they're treating the symptom. Your antihypertensive for your blood pressure isn't fixing your blood pressure. It's treating the symptom, which is your blood pressure. It doesn't treat the cause of it. And that's where functional medicine gets a little bit different than your traditional. It's, okay, you have high blood pressure. We can do some medications, but why do you have high blood pressure? What's driving that, and how do we get to it?
Yeah.
And what's normal for you as a blood pressure, while we have these normal standard ranges, may not be right for someone else. at a different point in phase. So you could take two people with the exact same lab number, vital sign, weight even, and somebody feels great and they're thriving and they're living their best lives. Somebody else is exhausted all the time and they feel terrible.
Right.
So that's where normal versus optimal. And I think functional medicine focuses on optimal and individualized, whereas normal is very standardized.
Exactly. And I've noticed that. I've done some blood testing with outside labs, and they will put you into, this is a range for athletes versus this is a range for the normal population. Like I'm not a normal population, but really no one is, right? And so if you're trying to compare yourself to what someone has come up with as a norm, that could be right or could be very off.
Well, and I think the takeaway for me lately is, as we've looked over the last several decades of data, the normal person, ask them, do you feel great? Do you feel like, are you living, are all your labs great, or are your vitals great? Are you meeting the metrics? Most normal people don't feel good.
Right.
So do I want to fit in with what's normal today? I don't.
Right.
I want to be optimal.
So when somebody comes to see you from a functional medicine standpoint, what does that appointment look like?
So to go back to the insurance driven that you brought up, I will just say that most functional medicine practice doesn't take insurance because insurance drives your time, what you can focus on, and what you get paid for. Not taking that affords me, a typical intake with me is probably 90 minutes. And we're going to talk about from when you were in the womb to your teenage years, to how many antibiotics did you take as a kid? Were you sickly? Did you have trauma as a kid? Were you in an accident? Did you hurt yourself? Did mom smoke when she was, like, we're going to go through all of it, because all of that, our bodies, if you've ever heard the book, The Body Keeps the Score, it's not wrong. Those things leave an imprint on where we are in our lives right now. So we look at historically what's happened. It's a 90-minute visit. We go through it all. And then we create a very tailored plan to what your story tells us. You're not going to get that in a traditional primary care office. Not because they don't want to know, because the system's not designed for that.
Right. Well, and I do think it's interesting. I've read a few things now recently on going in perimenopause, that a lot of women will start to have anxiety and things that they hadn't had before. And it's like bringing up things that happened when they were kids. Like, so I think people don't think about that. It's like, oh yeah, that happened then. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
You may not be over it.
Even when I did my own self-review and I went to a functional practitioner and we started talking about, like, have you ever had a head trauma? And my answer was no.
Yeah.
And then having to sit back, I was hit by a car on my bicycle as a kid. Head trauma. I was in a motor vehicle accident as a teenager. Head trauma. I was hit with a rock as a child. Head trauma. So it puts things in a different light. It makes you see things differently, and then you put it all together. And perimenopause is, don't get me wrong, it's chaotic and it can be different for every woman, but it's also really glorious. Like, our bodies are so intuitive. We just aren't used to the nuances and how to adjust.
Right. Well, and I think there hasn't been enough conversation about it.
No.
So now it's like, oh, perimenopause, menopause. It's just like these big flash things. And it's so funny to think, like, menopause is truly like a moment in time.
Thank you.
Right? Like, it's not this whole thing. Like, perimenopause is when everybody's like...
Decade.
But I also think then it's the post now, and understanding that, like, when we thought, oh, it's too late to go on hormone, therapy. And I don't know whether you call it hormone therapy or hormone replacement therapy, but, like, going down that route, I talked to so many people are like, oh yeah, I'm too old for that now. It's like, well, like, maybe not. Like, maybe talk to people. Yeah. So what do you see in kind of that phase that maybe people should be thinking about, and is the value of going and talking to somebody in functional medicine versus traditional?
So I think it's always good. I tell people that if you have a primary care provider, an OBGYN, somebody that you love and trust, fantastic. Our job as functional medicine practitioners isn't to override or intervene. It is to augment and collaborate so that, again, when they don't have time to do the deeper dive, they're going to give you the best information that they have based on statistics, data, and information. That is not wrong. It's just not complete.
Right.
So we are more than our symptoms. Perimenopause brings a whole lot of symptoms, but there's a lot of physiology and biology and chemistry that's happening underneath all of that. And it's very nuanced and it's individual. So perimenopause, I usually say it's 32 until menopause. It is a day. It is a one-day event. And I'm sorry, ladies, we need to be celebrating that day, just like your birthday. It is let's have a party on that day for us. That's my belief.
Yeah.
And then everything after that day is post-menopause.
Right.
And still celebrated. Should still be celebrated.
Because there's still changes that happen. Like, to me, it's so interesting to learn that, like, you know, your estrogen drops off and your bone density drops, but then your bone density can come back. Mm-hmm. And then your testosterone levels will come back. And there are changes. Like, so, and again, but it's different for everyone.
It's different for everyone.
And I think that's another challenge, right? Because people want to just be able to get like, oh, that's me. Okay, I just take this to make it all better. Yeah. No, it really is. It is a journey.
Yeah. And it's also, the reality is the journey is it's not sexy, right? It's not sleek. It's not always pretty. And it's not fast.
Yeah.
There is no pill for every ill. If you're looking for, I'm just going to go on hormone replacement therapy and everything gets great, that's not the whole picture. It's a benefit. It can help. It can help regulate. But it comes back to lifestyle habits, nutrition, sleep, exercise, whether that's cardiovascular or resistance work. All of that gets nuanced as we go through our phases of perimenopause and postmenopause.
Well, I feel like it's interesting because I work with high school girls too, and to see like puberty, right? It's the same thing. Yeah. It's like, but it's a little bit shorter, right? So they're not like dealing with like these symptoms. And I think in a certain sense, we pay more attention to girls at that age. Yeah. Not necessarily always in the right ways. I mean, gosh, there shouldn't be any ACL injuries, really, right? Because we now know. And you know how to train girls at different times of their cycle. Like, we know that information now, but we don't really get it out to everybody and talk openly about it yet. But I do think one of the things that's interesting as I delve more into all the perimenopause of how early it's starting for some women, and they don't realize that, that's what it is. I went so long with not being able to sleep. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, after having the boys, I used to sleep through anything. And then I had kids. And I guess lucky for me, I was 36 and 38. So it was a lot later that I like all of a sudden wasn't like sleeping because I was worried about them or hearing, them in the night and getting up with them, whatever. But then like to be just waking up and like, okay, I'm ready to write a term paper and I'll just solve all the world's problems right now because there are a lot of them. And
I'm awake, so
may as well do it. I think the big thing that got me was tendon issues because I had never had tendon issues. And I was like, what is going on here? But then to start to learn like the impact estrogen has on dementia and memory. And then when you learn that there's estrogen receptors in practically every cell in your body, well, of course we're going to have challenges when that goes away.
And we're going to have shifts. Go figure.
I know.
Yeah, and that all starts even in perimenopause. I mean, if you think about during your pregnancy period, I mean, our hormones shift, our estrogen shifts in part, and you mentioned tendons, our hips need to open for birth. Our tendons and ligaments all need to soften and be a little bit more lax. That happens from a chemical reaction. That's our hormones doing their job just as much as hot flashes, waking up at night, all of those other symptoms that come with perimenopause and menopause, because they start well before menopause. Yeah. We have women in their early 30s who are having those symptoms, hair thinning, skin changes. It's not just the classic, the shoulder issues, the hand complaints. A lot of that is hormone driven because of how our bodies are reacting. So yes, it starts much earlier. Waiting for bone loss conversations to happen when you're in your 40s and 50s, you've missed the window. That started in your 30s. So we have to start having the conversation. I always think of it as our bodies are a collection of systems. Those systems evolve over time. They don't go away and or stop. So when you go from birth to juvenile to, we go into, girls go through puberty, We then go into our childbirthing years, and then we go into that perimenopause. It's just a continuation of a system that's adapting. So to think of them as, well, we're only going to worry about this stage or this stage, in my mind is wrong, because it's the same system.
Well, and to me, it seems like I look at it, and I initially got my period late, and I went through menopause late. Like, oh, well, that makes sense, right? Yeah. That's my body and how it does it, right?
Unique.
So and that's where I think like the genetic, like being able to talk to your mom about these things or pass that information on to a kid, to have that knowledge base is huge, because it's truly a continuum.
It's a continuum, and you're absolutely right. It's connected. So we know that breast cancer can be inherited. It's a genetic predisposition. So knowing that history is so important. Same thing. I mean, I remember being asked, well, when did your mom go through menopause? 35, when she had a hysterectomy.
Right. So
everybody's
so now
different.
You don't know.
You still want to be able to connect all the dots. Why did she have a hysterectomy at 35? What was happening in her body? What could be happening in mine? Not that mine's the same,
right,
but there is that carryover, and it's just, we don't talk enough about the connectiveness of it all.
Yeah.
It's a system.
Do you what do you think of DNA testing? To learn, do you have the BRCA gene or not?
So I love the idea, and I'm definitely test BRCA. I love the DNA testing, but my own, I worry that these organizations that are doing it, like the My 23andMe and all that stuff, that's also data collection that I feel is being used inappropriately. So I'm not a big fan in doing, like, let me go out and get my gene history to see what percentage of me is this. It's more of, am I at risk for this disease? Scientifically proven studies. Yeah, I definitely think we do genetic testing and DNA testing in functional medicine.
I did, a while ago, I did the 23andMe, and then it was like, and I thought about it, and like, okay, that information's out there. I mean, luckily for me, I am not predisposed.
Right.
Like, I don't have those. But what I found super interesting was, and I have a printout of it, I had sent it to yet another company that did an analysis on drugs. So I know if Coumadin does not work for me. It took them what was it? Warfarin does not.
Yeah.
Coumadin does. It took them forever with my father to figure that out. They put him on various levels, and then they finally changed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, but you could have had a test that would tell them.
Yeah.
Right? And I know, like, the breast cancer drug, I know I don't metabolize that. So I would need a different level.
Yeah.
Like, if that information is that accessible, why would the drug companies not go, well, let's just get it for you so that you know what you need?
Well, I think eventually, as we get into boutique medicine, things will be tailored to that as we do more and more testing. But yeah, it's a newer territory. We don't do a lot of it, and I don't know that we've optimized how best to use that data.
Well, and I think it can be very scary too, right? Because both of my boys, I was like, I bought them the tests, and I was like, do it. Like, half of you is doing pretty well,
right?
But I feel like for them, like, more information is better, and not everyone wanted to do it. But so part of it is they're young, right? So they're like, I don't have any issues. What do I need to worry about?
Right.
But I think there's some fear factor in there too. Like, well, what if something comes out? Then what, am I worrying about something?
Yeah. And, do I have to worry about something that I have no control over?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Do I want to open that Pandora's box?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do understand that too. I'm wondering, going back on the perimenopause and then even postmenopause, like, and more peri, are there things, symptoms that women have that you would say, come talk to me about this, because of implications later on of, like, what it can mean for you if there's no reason, the hot flashes and heart health and, things like that, the research.
I want everyone to come and talk to me about this stuff, because I love to talk about this stuff, right? And I want to empower you to own your health and your future. Yeah. You don't I think the big takeaway for me is so many women who come to me, their key statement is, I've had all the tests, I've talked to my doctor, and they said, I'm fine. It's just part of perimenopause. It'll get better. I think we know better now that you don't have to suffer through this. There's things we can do. So most of the women who are coming to me, that's their big issue is, I feel like crap, but I keep getting told my labs are fine and everything's normal. It's just part of life.
Right.
So for a lot of women, I think it's more about being seen and heard and having someone connect the dots and be able to give them the information about what's happening in my body. Why is this happening to me? What can I do? Like, we talk a lot about how you can eat differently during different phases of your cycle, how you can train differently during phases of your cycle, where to give, where to push, and ultimately the other big issue is, and I get really passionate about the fact that we talk a lot about what your sleep look like. Your body recovers and does a ton of work while we're sleeping.
Right.
If you're not sleeping, it doesn't get that.
Yeah.
If you're not fueling properly, it doesn't get that. So we really do take a holistic look. And then what we end up finding out is, while we're working on those hormone issues, the hot flashes, the sleep disturbances, the headaches, the joint pain, the hair thinning, when we start to do the work on that, then they're like, I didn't know this was an issue, but, I've lost weight, my stomach, I always had bloating. That went away when we started doing it. Like we don't connect the dots.
Right.
So I think if you're feeling dismissed, it's there's something wrong, you can't quite put your finger on it, or there's more you could be doing to make it better or less, talk to us. I think the biggest thing for functional medicine, integrated medicine, is really about the opportunity to educate and empower.
Yeah.
Give you back, you control your body.
Well, and again, I think it's that holistic look. It's like, if you go in to your GP and say, my stomach hurts, they're thinking about your stomach. They're not thinking about what else is going on that could be. And I think if I was starting over now, I would totally do the brain gut connection, study that. To me, that is absolutely interesting. I mean, I just read something the other day that serotonin is there's serotonin levels in your gut.
Yeah.
That affects your mood.
Most of your immune system is in your gut.
So it's just right? It's
connecting that.
So then, and then you go down the whole probiotic and prebiotics and all that kind of stuff. But it's just even having that knowledge of and cognition. Yeah. Right? So it's all linked.
Yeah, all the brain fog, all of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those are the things we love to talk about. How do we connect all the dots? Because we don't think about it. And I think one of the values, being a 25-year veteran of traditional medicine, when you come to me and say my stomach hurts, I'm thinking about all of those traditional things too. What are the can't miss issues we need to tackle?
Right.
That needs disease medicine, or we need to do some more testing. Is this an appendicitis? Is this a gallbladder? I'm still thinking about all of that. Right. But then I'm also stepping back and looking at it from a different lens of saying, what else can be playing into this? Let's talk about what's going on.
And that's where I think it's I love the concept. To me, it's so critical and important, because too often, I feel I always joke and say, well, if you go to an orthopedic, he's going to tell you there's a problem with your bone. Is it your bone? I don't know, but that's what they know. That's where their focus is. They're looking at that and saying, yes, this looks like a bone issue, and if we do this, it'll get better. Yeah. But maybe it's not. Maybe it is more in your gut, and that's causing problems other places.
So we talk a lot. I have a lot of women who come to me for their perimenopause, their menopause, and we start talking about osteopenia and osteoporosis. And when I talk about osteoimmunology, they're like, I don't even know what that is. There are specialists, there are orthopedic osteo specialists that tie directly into your immune system. There's an osteoimmunology division.
I've never heard of that. That's so interesting.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing, all of these systems interconnect, and we're learning so much more as we go.
It's amazing that the human being has been around as long as we have, with I feel all the stuff we're learning now. But I think we've also created a lot of things that have created problems for us.
Correct. Right? But I definitely, my one saying all along has been, Mother Nature is so much smarter than we are. Whatever you believe in, however we were created, that design team,
it was
they
pretty
knew what
spectacular.
They were doing. We are still babies in the womb, figuring out what we can and can't do, and how our bodies work. There's so much we know, and we have so much great data to support living healthier, but there's so much we don't know.
Yeah. No, it's super interesting to me.
Yeah.
So I think, you've seen probably hundreds, literally, of people from a functional medicine standpoint. Talk about a success story. What are some people that maybe stand out of things? I think it's frustrating. There are a lot of people that walk around not feeling well, and they look fine on the outside, and they'll say this is bothering me, or this is it's a nagging issue, or and then you get dismissed by traditional medicine. Well, do this or take this, try this medication.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It doesn't do anything, like I'm sure you've seen stories like that.
I see
you've
it
had
all
people
the
come
time. And I think my favorite stories are it's usually high functioning women, whether that's they are the CEO of their household and they're making everything run for everybody else in the family, or they're the CEO of a company, or they're an entrepreneur, or they're an elite athlete. I mean, because we talk to all of them, they all come in, and you're right. On the outside, it looks great, but we make the connections. We do the deeper dive. We find out where there could be small tweaks, and where you're thriving on the outside, you're suffering on the inside.
And I think that's one of the things that I'll tell the kids, like when, one of the kids he was passing out randomly. And so they started doing scans, and I was like, make sure they get the picture of your heart, because you're an athlete, you run a lot, you're a guy, you're going to have an enlarged heart. At some point, that becomes a problem. You need to take breaks and stuff. So I was like, at least now you'll have a picture of your 17-year-old heart, right? You have a picture of those things. So we don't think about our insides. Everybody thinks about the outside. What does the outside look like?
Well, and we always think youth is, indestructible. They can go.
Know.
And we're in a hustle culture. Everybody believes I just have to push through more. Sometimes it's so counterintuitive to us, but it's not push through, it's step back. So those are the stories where, taking someone who, just tell me what I need to do to make this better.
Yeah.
What you need to do is focus on sleep, put your phone away, hydrate better. Like the number of women who underfuel.
Oh.
And crazy, I know you see this in the athletic world.
Huge.
I mean, underfueling, undersleeping, overstressed. I just got to muscle through. It's really, the success stories come from when people have that aha moment and they're like, you know what? I have been hustling.
Yeah.
And I'm exhausted. And then what is the other big buzzword everybody's talking about? Burnout. Our culture has cultivated that.
Yeah. Oh, it's looked upon like that's a good thing.
Yeah. So it's really,
how much can you do? How fast can you go?
Yeah. We're all about output, speed, volume, metrics, data. Sometimes we're so much more than that.
Yeah. And I think it's too bad almost, because I think a lot of people get to that age, they've gone through menopause, and then, like I've lost both of my parents in the last couple of years. And so like now I feel like at this point I have a few less stressors that are going on. I mean, I just worry about my kids, but they're like, one's working, one's in grad school. Like they're doing okay.
Yeah.
Now it's like I can kind of chill a little bit, and it's like, whoa. Then all of a sudden you realize like, oh, but this hurts, and you start to like, I go back to really seeing where you are.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. We've all talked about, you reach your 50s and you read that, I'm in my don't give a era.
Yes.
And there is some of, like, think about that. It's not that you don't give a.
No.
It's that I don't feel the hustle that I have to. But then we reach a point where I also don't want to be irrelevant.
Right.
So there's a mind shift, there's a physiology shift, but I also think it's not until our 40s and 50s for a lot of women who have pushed through raising a family, building a career, whatever that may look like, and they're at this, they hit 40s and 50s, they're like, okay, now it's time for me.
Right.
You should have been the narrative in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. It's building those habits there.
Well, and especially around the running, I always, people are like, well, I can't run now. I can't do that because I have kids. I never stopped.
Right.
And I don't know if that was because that's just part of who I am, is like, I just do stuff, or I did have my kids later. So maybe I was just so entrenched with it that I was like, I'm not stopping for you.
Right.
I'm not going to stop doing races just because I have kids. Like, just, I worked it in, and that was a priority for me. So I do agree. I hate, and that's one thing that I am all into this, like, how do we age better? How do we age so that we can do the things we want to do as long? Like, I love being in a position to say, oh, there's something coming up. I want to go do that. I want to go do a trail event. I want to go do, like, and I can do it. It's okay, But I think it's hard for people who are younger to think about that, because they're like, well, I feel fine now. I'm fine. Like,
I'll do that later.
Yeah. I'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that information out. Whereas I have a feeling if they work with you, they start to know those things a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And it's also building habits that are sustainable. So, I tell people, okay, you're 45, you're going through perimenopause, life is in its chaotic year. Like, you're at your peak of chaos right now, right? The kids are young, the job, the household, I get it. I'm not asking you to go spend an hour at the gym every day. A 10-minute walk after breakfast and dinner can be a game changer.
Yeah.
Psychologically, physiologically, energetically. Like, let's find ways to make it attainable so that you don't feel like you're failing because you can't sustain it. And then we build on that. Mm-hmm. And I think that mindset is very hard to embrace when we're in a all or nothing culture. Right. So, yeah, it's recognizing, where am I? I love the fact that there are so many people now. Like, when I go to the gym, I look around and I remember I used to be that 22-year-old at the gym who worked out because I was the fitness instructor coming in. Now I'm in my 50s and I look around and I'm like, the majority of the people in this gym are about my age. It's encouraging. Mm-hmm. But what's even more encouraging is you see these people who are older, who are coming back from an illness or an injury, and they're training differently, but they're still showing up for themselves and training. Yeah. So this I can't do is not accurate. You can do. We just have to be willing to modify how we do. Right. And I think that's so important. So talking about that, and what is your exercise? What do you love to do these days? My favorite workout is definitely legs. I love to do a good leg workout. But I am a former, I never called myself a runner. I have run a marathon, I've done 3 marathons and 1 mini tri. I stopped running in my late 30s. I fell and broke my back. So running was hurting me. So I gave it up. I've always done yoga. So I love a great hot yoga class. But now I set a goal out for myself when I turned 54 that by 55, I wanted to be able to be back to running and be strong. I don't want to be skinny. I want to be strong. Mm-hmm. I want to be, the oldest person at the gym or I can be the youngest person at the nursing home. I want to be that older person at the gym. Yeah. So I signed up to do my first half marathon in September. So I have to admit, I don't love running. Yeah. But I will do it. I will walk all day, any day. Love it. But leg workout is my favorite, and yoga is probably my release workout. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's awesome. I like to mix it up. Let's see. I wanted to see it, make sure I didn't miss anything that I really wanted to. So when did you actually get into the functional medicine? I actually did my yoga certification back 20 years ago, and I trained with Ayurvedic practitioners. Mm-hmm. So I was I've kind of always been holistic. The full functional medicine, I signed up and really bought into it and went and got certified starting in 2024. Okay. And I feel like I was on the cusp of the curve, maybe a little bit before, because you look around now and there's lots of lifestyle coaching medicine practices popping up. But I feel like it's always been in my wheelhouse because I've always wanted, I always talk to my clients about how do you eat, how do you sleep, how do you fuel, what are you doing? But the traditional system didn't allow me to dive into it. No, because you literally don't have time. You just don't have time. Right. So I was like, I've had enough. I'm done seeing the same people for the same issue because we're not actually helping them get to the solution. We're just band-aiding it with more medicines and more 15-minute, one-liners on eat less, walk more. Like the eat less, walk more, move more, this. What does that look like, really? People need guidance. That's exactly it. Yeah. I think it's connecting those dots. I love to educate people. So, I'm not an expert at everything, but I have a pretty good base. I'm 25 years of medicine and holistic wellness and Ayurvedic and functional. What do you think it is that get people to actually say, okay, I'm going to make an appointment? Is it usually they get to it's a point of frustration. It's a pain point. Yeah. What is really driving them? It's either I'm not heard, I'm not seen, I feel like crap, and nobody can give me an answer. I've been to everybody and they all say I'm fine, but I feel like crap. Or maybe getting contradictory advice from different people. So I think that's a challenge too. When you go with one person and they say it's this, and then somebody else says something different, and then you're like, now who do I believe? Yeah. And it could be a combination.
right?
Yep. And I will never tell a client, don't take that medicine that your doctor's prescribed, or you should take this instead. Like, that's not my role. Right. I'm very aware of my role. My role is to say, that medicine is doing this. Here's what we can do to augment it. And then maybe at some point in time, you don't need that medicine. And I have had those stories where people start changing their lives, and small things can take medicines off the plate, and it's one less thing you have to worry about, and you feel better.
Right.
And that's
I think, like we were saying before, it's like all those side effects, right? It's like, sometimes you go, whoa, I don't know that I would take that, because if all those side effects are there.
Or you go in for a complaint with X, and they're like, well, take this to solve that, but take this because this medicine's going to cause nausea, so here's your nausea medicine. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah, it's too many people are on too many medicines, and ultimately it's not a blame game, but our system is not set up. We are in it for fast and convenient.
Yeah.
Whether that's our nutrition.
But that's like everything. It's like everything. The weight loss, like how fast can you, just take a pill? Everybody wants a pill for something. Because that's what we've been told, right? Yeah. There's a pill for everything.
Yeah.
But it does take work.
Yeah. I think, and that's the one thing I will say, people who come to a functional medicine point usually are so frustrated with where they've been that they're like, all right, I'm willing to do the work now. Because I don't do anything. I'm not the one doing the work.
Right.
I can guide you.
Yes, but you have to do it. You have to want to do it.
Are resulting on what you commit to do. So come prepared. Not that it's painful work. And usually people within a week or two, if they start implementing some of the things that we talk about, they almost always come back and say, oh my God, I had the best night's sleep. Or I wore a shirt that I haven't worn in 2 years because my bloating is better. And all I did was make this one change.
Yeah.
It really, small changes add up. They're big.
Well, and I do think that it is, and a key message is, you have to be willing to do that stuff, right? And it's like physical therapy. My son's a physical therapist now. And, he said it's always obvious who does the exercises and who doesn't. Yep. And, you can say physical therapy doesn't work, but if you're not doing what you've been asked to do, it's not going to work, right? Exactly. So it's the same, we all have to put some work into it.
Yeah.
If we want to stay ahead. Well, we always finish up, and we've touched a little bit in this, but with some questions we call Final Kick. So favorite post-workout snack?
Ooh, I usually I'm a hard-boiled egg girl. It's quick, it's easy, and I'm usually on to the next thing after a workout, so it's convenient. So it's usually a hard-boiled egg or two. Simple. I
love that, and I love doing my hard-boiled eggs with avocado and making egg salad that way.
And I've started adding
with
cottage
curry.
Cheese.
See, you're a cottage cheese person
I am.
too. I put cottage cheese with everything.
I know.
Cottage cheese and peanut butter. Do you have that combo?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
That doesn't even sound right, but now I'm going to go home
and
try it today.
Try it, because it really is good. I mean, I put cottage cheese on and baked beans on my baked potatoes.
Okay.
Another
cottage cheese
one.
I have put on my baked potato.
Yes, because it tastes good.
Tastes great.
I know.
Instead of sour cream? Yes, please.
Yes, I know. I always go cottage cheese over.
Yep, small, subtle changes. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. So fun. Your favorite way to recover? You kind of talked a little bit about that already.
Yoga usually, if we're talking about a post-workout, or if I'm going to recover, like yoga is definitely my decompress, and a good hot yoga, just let me sweat. I've really gotten into the floating sauna in Saratoga. Have you been there?
No.
You should. If you like hot, I love to sauna cold plunge.
Yeah.
Do it now before the lake gets too warm.
Too warm, right? Exactly.
It was literally just there the other day, and the lake temperature is 57 degrees, which is perfect for women who cold plunge.
Okay, I could do that. Yeah, exactly, because that's one thing with women, right?
Right. You don't want it to be too cold.
You don't want it too cold.
Yes, because it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
So right now the lake's at the right temperature, but to be sitting in a sauna at 185 degrees and just meditating or journaling. People bring books. They have a book club at the sauna. They have all these different activities.
I know, and a bunch of people have done it. Yeah.
I do love it. That is another decompress. Okay. And I'll tell you, I never sleep better than when I go after a good sauna.
Yep. Okay. I like that. Your favorite workout these days, or favorite place to work out? Maybe let's go place to work out, because we know you like leg workouts.
I like my leg workout.
So where do you like to go?
The Y in Saratoga or the Y in Wilton, just because they're close to my house. That they're great, they're spacious, they always have activities. I used to, when I lived closer to Albany, my favorite was CrossFit for the People. I love Kayla and her community. They're just amazing. But it's become too much of a commute, so I can't get there anymore.
Yeah. But a lot of it is community too, right?
100%. Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's another piece that now we're talking more about the blue zones and all that, and like that's a big piece of all those places.
You bet it is.
Huge sense of community, which is something we try to build with the Run for Women. So
well, and then there's also accountability because other people see you there. Like there's we work out at the same time. Where have you been? Yeah, so there's that too.
No, and then there's power in that, right?
Yeah.
Because not only is it like, where have you been? Then it's like, oh, you care about me.
You noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know people saw me. Or there's the push, if I'm working out on my own in my house, it's easy for me to say, I'm tired. Oh, I got to do the laundry. Let me go do something else. But if I'm at the gym, there's somebody else next to me doing the same work. I'm like, I cannot be outdone by that person. I got to do another rep.
Exactly. I'm right with you on that one. I do wonder too, though, like, I mean, if you're, from a functional medicine standpoint, if you have someone who's very isolated, I mean, that affects their health too.
I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
Being isolated is one of the biggest impacting components, particularly for aging.
Yeah.
I mean, I will
tell you with
cures,
the memory stuff too, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're by yourself and have memory issues, it is so much worse than being in an environment with other people where they're trying to stimulate you and keep you moving. And how do people get in touch with you?
Website, powerofonehealth.com. They can always call, email, Karin Hall at powerofonehealth.com. If you go to the website, the phone number's there. That's usually the easiest way to find me.
Perfect. Well, I do think, I don't know, I did during COVID, they had all those free classes you could do. And I did a functional medicine class. And I just think to me, it makes absolute perfect sense.
Well, and I will tell you that as someone who has been in the traditional medicine world for over 25 years, I've done and seen a lot. Going back to do certification for functional medicine really was a holy crap, I didn't know how much I didn't know. Like it was a whole nother university level training and biochemical. I mean, I joke to people, I was just like, remember that chemistry class you took and you learned the Krebs cycle?
Yeah.
I actually have to know that stuff now because it matters.
Right.
And I'm just like, I remember so little of those. My organic chem professor would be so proud of me today.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so much more to it, and we are so much more than what we think we are.
Well, and I do think it's also, and then it's keeping up on everything too, right? Because as you said, now we've learned so much more about how the human body works.
Yeah.
There's so much more to learn. So it is like constantly keeping up on it.
And that's true whether you're functional medicine or traditional, right? The GLP-1s have changed the game for standard medicine, lifestyle medicine. Like, it's changed the game. These medications that keep coming out, staying current on the new medications, the new recommendations, the new guidelines. If you're staying up with all of that, it's a full-time job.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but I love it. I love to learn. I love to help people be healthy. And so I really am loving this journey right now.
That's fantastic. Well, and that's really the goal of this podcast, is to get information out there, to educate, and to give women the tools that can help them live better lives.
Absolutely. Because we deserve that.
We do. So what you do next matters most. So let's all get out there and get fitter.